What's going on, trash cans? Welcome back to some more trash pumpkin trading cards. I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend, because we did. While we were in San Antonio, Texas. So, how did San Antonio, Texas go? Well, that is a great question. First, we're going to let people tune in, see how they had their weekend, and then we are going to talk about the event. We will talk about day by day, and then yeah, we sure were, Haunter. Also, would you like a super premium collection prismatic? Well, no, I can get one from GameStop, but I digress. So, how did our Collecticon experience go, and how is it in comparison to other people? Um, wow, this is a cute baby. Matthew's behind me in his little chair. Angry right now. Angry Michael. Well, what was our adventure like? So our trip started Thursday evening, midday into evening. We flew down to Texas, and then we went into our hotel, got all settled, and then Friday was about meeting up with an Instagram person, where we did he buys slabs, varying percentages and varying items. So he bought a bunch of slabs from us Friday before the show even started, while people were setting up, and then on why is this not? No, I don't want the alert box. While we were setting up, and then I don't know why it's like that. There should be a little bit of black. That's just the way it is. Okay. Um, what's up, DJs? We are editing our screen real quick, and then we're gonna open it. We're doing our San Antonio Collecticon recap. So Saturday was interesting. We didn't get a lot of foot traffic to our section for singles. We had one person that came through, bought a bunch from our entire island. Actually, bought a bunch of 151 singles from us, and we did that deal with two of the other people. What was the biggest pickup? So we kind of like went wide with it. We ended up getting four Sunbreon PSA 10s, Prismatic Terrestrial Festival, and a bunch of Evolutions. And then my business partner and myself split up our slabs. So I took all the Pikachus, so we have a bunch of Pikachus now. We did end up getting into our area, myself and Haunter. We did do a massive buyout of like 6.5K, and that included two Lugias, Bubble Mew, and a bunch of other stuff. So we did that. And that was like us doing that. There was a guy walking around a PSA 1 Gold Star, but nobody in our booth wanted it. Now, mind you, like we saw deals going on all around us. There was a gentleman who was walking on day two on Sunday, and I'll get to that. But Saturday we ended up doing just a bunch of slab transactions. I did sell a couple singles out of my cases, but I didn't sell really any like higher end over $50-ish singles. So that was Saturday. Again, a lot of our turnover was just we were busy with slabs all day Saturday. And then it was really cool because we walked around the event and we saw Garchomp and we met him. And then we ended up meeting Bulbasaur afterwards. We met him at a restaurant while I was having dinner with my best friend and his family. Um, so we did all that. For us, slabs was what was working. Um, the overall venue didn't do well for a lot of people. There was a lot of complaints, and I mean a majority of the people, by majority I mean like 99.9% of the consistent Collecticon vendors were like, this is one of the worst Collecticons in ever existence. And I've never done one, so I was like, I'm having a blast. Um, would we do another Collecticon? Yes. Will we do another San Antonio Collecticon? Probably not. That's just because our the way that the layout was, there was essentially 3 rooms, and we were all the way in the back of the 3rd room, and a lot of people didn't know that that room even existed in the layout, so it kind of shut a lot of people off. Traditionally, if you're in like a big venue where people can just walk in, then they can enjoy like going around the entire perimeter and working their way in. No, so people consider the market, but also in San Antonio, Texas, in our area, there was 3 major shows going on, and you know, coming up close to the holidays, would you pay $40 to go to Collecticon for a day, or would you go to another TCG Expo with less tables that cost $10? Right? Like, as a family person, I think that the one expectation is to go to the cheaper show just so you can get more bang for your buck. Um, Cards themselves, like the things that we saw were pretty common. But the most unique interaction we had, which I didn't really understand, was a gentleman came up to us on Saturday, and he had, I believe, like 7 or 8 PSA 10 Pikachu EX SIRs from Surging Sparks. And I was like, why do you have all of these? And then he had that. He had 4 Moltres from DR, 3 something else. And he told us he was asking 85% of market. And then he told us that he sold his Mewtwo's at 80%. And I was like, that just doesn't make sense. I'm not going to pay more than what other vendors are paying you. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. So I think Michael did end up getting a couple things off of him just because he wanted one of the cards because it was kind of like low right now. But like a lot of people had junk slabs that they just didn't want to do anything with on Saturday that we ended up just moving and like exchanging out to Whatnot streamers. And that was literally what we did all day Saturday. Now, Sunday, if you guys go back and watch our live stream, I will say that the first 2.5 hours are pretty slow. And in general, just to like preface the stream, we didn't open up our singles cases except to put the cards in and take the cards out. There is one point where I show a Charizard V, try to come bridge the deal, and then she didn't want to get rid of her Gardevoir, and I was like, I understand. So we didn't do that. Sunday was just more slabs. We didn't sell a single card out of the case. My binder did okay, but I didn't like move anything crazy on the binder. Now, a little bit, a couple things that I missed about Saturday. We did sell out 2 out of the 3 binders that we had with us. I had a $1 binder full with a bunch of EXs and stuff like that, taking up space. So I got rid of that for a really cheap price, affordable to the person buying it. And then Michael sold his binder for like 84% of market, so that was pretty good for him. And the couple 2 vendors behind us didn't do a lot of value at all. They were negative the first day, so that was kind of shocking to me. But the fun part about that was while we were walking around, there was a moment where somebody actually was watching the stream and his family was vending the show and had found us on YouTube. So we ended up like meeting them, and then another gentleman came in and we hooked him up with a really solid deal on our sealed Growlithe Pikachu and Growlithe promo with the special delivery Charizard BGS 9.5, and we did a solid deal for him, so he could add those to his collection because he was like one of those niche collectors. And those are kind of like the highlights of our Saturday event. Now Sunday picked up really weirdly. Like the last 3 hours of the show were fairly busy for us, which is great. Now there was an interaction that I would just like to touch on a little bit. So if you watch our live stream, or you guys were there during our live stream on Sunday, there was a gentleman who walked up with a binder. He said that his binder was worth 13,000, like 13,000 and like let's say $100, and then said that he had a couple cards overpriced, so he had lowered it to like $13,012 or something like that. And the cards that he had weren't bad cards. Keep in mind, it was just the overall price difference. Some of the cards was too great, and so Michael and myself would want to sit down and go through each of the cards to make sure that we are establishing fair market value and then giving him a fair offer. So I showed him, I said, look, for collection size, there are a lot of binder cards. There are a lot of light play to moderate play condition cards based off of your own labels. And I gave him the price that we were willing to pay. We were going to offer him roughly off Jump Street, if his price was true, like start our offer at like 9,200 cash. His best offer prior to was 9,500, but that was split between PayPal and cash. We were going to give him straight cash. And he was like, I got to think about it. And I said, well, look, there's an hour. And this is the part I want to touch on is I know it kind of sounded like I was being a dick to the dude, but comping a car, like an entire binder full of 480 cards and conditioning the cards, pricing them, and then coming to an agreement would take a lot of time. And we had to be out of the venue by a specific time after the show closed. So we didn't want to feel pressured into doing a deal with the dude. And I told him, I said, look, when you walk away, deal's off the table. And he walked away. So no harm, no foul there. Just, I understand I was being a bit brief. And with him, just doing the transparency with why I was so abrupt versus my normal demeanor is just because time was of the essence in a deal of that size and quantity. So I appreciate that, Hunter. I just, again, wanted to touch on that for those that were live during the stream or would go back and watch the stream, why the brevity was of that nature. Now, at the end of the show, we also did a couple of deals. Myself and Michael did sell a couple slabs. Not the best percent, but we just wanted to move some extra stuff, so we did. And so we ended up doing a good weekend for us. Now, rooming with you was an interesting experience and nothing I haven't experienced before in my time in the military, so that much is good. We are talking about potentially doing Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Collecticon in Broward County. For those of you that don't know, I was actually born in Broward County, and my family lived there many years ago. So I'd be kind of like going back to where I was born. That's not really important to anybody else. It's just kind of cool that they're doing a Collecticon there. Speaking of which, Haunter, if you can't get an island and Locke can't get an island, I might be able to get us tables through another person, but I'll work on that end myself. So yes, we would do another Collecticon, but we probably will not do another San Antonio Collecticon just because cost versus time versus the location of the venue. Now, if they change the venue, then that is a different story. But the layout of the venue, where there was massive, don't get me wrong, just didn't allow for a good flow of traffic. So now the second half of this stream, or the other part of this stream, is actually us going to be opening up the Pokemon Center ETB in front of you. Yes, I do open up the PC ETBs. Why? It kind of tells a story on our channel. So if you guys are new here or haven't been around, I open up different collections and stuff like that. One, so you can see what we get inside, what the promos look like and everything like that. And then two, I grade them. I don't care if they're 10, but I add the cards to my collection to kind of tell a story of us opening product on the channel. So without further ado, we are going to be opening up this beautiful Pokemon Center ETB. Current market value is $200. And yes, I do have a problem. What is up, Colby you magnificent creature. BB, what is happening? How are you wonderful people doing this fantastic Monday evening? BB, I really appreciate all of your wonderful help this weekend. That is amazing. Colby, I hope that you've been good with the kid. Oh yeah, we're excited. I actually don't know what the Phantasmal Flames promo is. But yeah, the flight home actually was 2 hours and like 40 minutes, and then we were supposed to land at like 9:50. We landed at like 9:25. Versus flying there was 4 hours and something minutes. So, however that works. But yeah, so here's our PC ETB all sealed and fresh. Actually, TJ did remind us that we got the plushie, so we did get the plushie from Mama Panda as well. So we got that. Ooh, Charcadet. That's the promo. I wondered where that thing came from. The excitement. Charcadet PC promo price. You know, that's a great question. I actually don't know that off the top of my head. I can look that up for you real quick. I generally don't know. I know the Riolu. I've been trying to get rid of my Riolu PC promo for a long time, and nobody wants it. But let's see what the old TCG player has to say. Charcadet. Price title though. $38. Nothing crazy. It's actually pretty reasonable for a PC ETB promo. I don't know if it's because there was so many like purchased and then opened by people like myself, which I firmly believe is not a problem to have. But I agree. Getting these sequentially set are fantastic. We're actually going to open this up and see what the conditioning looks like to see if we can get them graded. Oh, we're going to grade them anyways. Oh, yeah, most certainly. I don't know if you'd be better purchasing it already graded or if you just want to have it to have it. You know what I mean? All right, let's see what these bad Larrys look like. Gonna put them in penny sleeves first. I guess the one Charcadet doesn't really matter because it's like $3. This kind of reminds me of like the Twilight one. So non-PC promo. There's a small nick in the top right-hand corner and the top. God damn, this QC sucks. Yeah, this is busted. We might have to replace this one with a better version if we can find it. All right, let's see. PC front looks good. Centering looks good. There is a small white nick in the top right and left-hand corners and the bottom right. Well, this is probably going to 9. We're going to get a better Charcadet non-PC, though, just because this promo that we have right here is just not... It's probably going to grade like a 7 or a 6, to be honest. We were doing good. We gave her a bath, and well, she decided to poop, so that was fun. Aren't kids great? Have you seen the new scandal PSA changing a dude's graded 9s to 10s after he sold them to PSA? So, I'm not sponsored by PSA. I'm going to preface my answer with that. I have no, I get no bonus for defending or being against, so I'm just going to establish that. There's a couple things that don't make sense to me about the whole interaction, which is in the essence of grading, there is a human factor that comes into it where the grader puts the cards into the system and we are human and we do make mistakes. So I will say that. I do not think that there was any malicious intent from a company that large over something so small. And on top of that, they completely rectified the situation in order to alleviate the discrepancy that could have been an honest mistake by the grader themselves when they put the card in. So it's hard to say it's a scandal when PSA rectified the situation, refunded the money, and took care of the gentleman in the process. And it just seems like in the current situation, especially in our community, that any chance people get to be on a witch hunt, they kind of do. So it's like, was it a scandal or was it manipulation? Was it an honest mistake? We're never going to know as the general public, and people are going to have their own opinions. But at the end of the day, I'm sure if we go back in time, PSA's been around for 30 years or whatever it is, that this mistake has happened before. And if it is human factor, it's probably something that they have meetings about to have quality control. And that is why it goes into quality control. So it is unfortunate that the person was put in that situation, don't get me wrong. And I would be aggravated as well. But as long as PSA does what's right by the buyer, I don't see why so many people are up in arms. So that's my take on it. All right, Phantasmal Flames, pack number 1. Yeah, so fun. Yeah, I took it with a grain of salt, but with TCG Climate right now. So, like, outside of GameStop manipulating it and, like, PSA, like, not... It's hard... It's like... If a company is being used and they want to provide quality things for their customers, them extending their times where it's inconvenient is understandable. But the reason people are upset about their turnaround times isn't because of anything but money. Right? Like, people just want the cards back faster so they can sell them faster. That PSA knows that. So them extending their time is going to show who's truly, like, invested in the hobby, in my opinion. Like, I know it's not fortunate or great, but it kind of makes sense when you look at people wanting their stuff to be done faster so PSA can pay them out faster, right? And so I think that with the TCG climate, everybody wants an excuse to push different grading companies, and everybody's allowed to do their own belief and do what they believe in, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if people don't support PSA, like, everybody has their choice, and people may not agree with me continuing to submit through PSA, but that's just what I've always done. PSA prior to me ever being a vendor, ever be doing this when I started my YouTube channel, and I don't think that's going to change, mostly because I don't like any of the other grading companies the way that the cards look. I think that One Piece looks better in a Beckett Black Label, but I'm not trying to Beckett Black Label on my One Piece, But enough about that. We have a Misdrevious, Charmeleon, a Yamper. I wonder if he yaps. Nimble. Boop. Mamoswine. Jumbo Ice Cream. We had ice cream the other night. It was delicious. Wigglytuff. Reverse Tauros. Duraludon. And a Palma. That was poop. All right. Here we have pack number 2 out of 10. I did see some of the Mega Dream cards, and I am curious as to where the market's going to go for the Japanese once the English releases, because if that English side drops aggressively, like it normally does, like when the Japanese cards tank, not like when the English set releases, that's gonna be great. I think it's even low now comparatively, in my opinion. Palmo, It's like 18 bucks. Jigglypuff. Gloom. Charmander. We have Cerulege. Punk Helmet. Sviper. It's a snake. Reverse Palmet. Reverse Dawn. It's actually played. And Azation. Mega Gengar SIR. Is that going to be your new chase? Do you think people are going to hype that one up because of the old Gengar VMAX? Like it's going to replace the Gengar VMAX and inflate the price of it? Because then you're going to have like the old and the new. You know what I mean? Not this set. We have Pillow Swine. What you mean, BB? IPOM. But personally, I think it's a $300 card. Are we talking about the Gengar or the Psyduck? Pomo. Gloom. Yeah, in the next one, right? Yeah, that makes sense. We have Bronzong. I'm excited for it. I actually missed out on the PC drop for the ETBs, unfortunately. We have Darmanitan. We have a Lombre. A Lenone. And our first EX is yoink, Miss Magus. That is doo-doo butter chat with Dragonite and Mewtwo. True. I'm not a fan of the Mewtwo because we just had the DR Mewtwo. Yeah, I could see that being Prismatic 2.0. I just hope that the Prismatic... I mean, but they can't really do that, though, because, like, what would your God packs be, you know? Like, what would your God pack... Because in Prismatic, it makes sense when you get the Evolution God pack, you get all of the Evolutions. But nothing really flows like that in Mega Dream, where you're just going to be like, oh, I'm going to get a random Gengar and this and that. I'm not saying it does or doesn't look better than the DR Mewtwo. I just don't understand why you would print another Mewtwo SIR when you had one printed 2 sets ago. That doesn't make sense. Like logistically. Like do a card that hasn't gotten a lot of love. Like do a Gyarados. It's like the God packs and White Bolt and Black. Oh, you think that they'll do like a bunch of like Pokeballs and Master Balls for it and then get like one SIR? Sably. Durulodon. No shenanigans. Another Piloswine. Charmeleon again. I agree. They haven't. When was the last Arcanine card when they did the Hisuian Growlithe? Like I know it's not even Arcanine. That's just baby Arcanine. I'm not disagreeing with you. But like you had Mew in Paldean Fates, Mewtwo in DR, and then Mewtwo again. Dawn again. Wigglytuff. Carvana. Hope you got the Carfax. Art rare and SIR with Master Ball or some gimmicky. Potentially. Swinub. And Suicune. I could see them doing that. I just don't see why they would do all the Pokeballs and Master Balls again. Because it makes White Flare fun to open, especially for kids. But for Master Setters, it's just a massive hole. And then if you ever try to sell that, nobody in their right mind is going to want all of those Master Balls and Pokeballs. We have Lombre again. A Piplup. Palmy. Murkrow. So we haven't. When was the last time we had a Lugia SAR? Silver Tempest. Darmanitan. Linoone. I'd still rather have a Gyarados over a Lugia, though. Battle Cage. Boltund. Grand Bull. And Vileplume. Gyarados too, for sure. Right, but I don't know if it's trying to keep older generations in the hobby with newer generations. So it's you keep older Pokemon, but you make new art. So it attracts two different people. But especially with the advances in technology, I think that you can come up with some sick, I think what they should do is do how they have the Lovebirds or the Mewtwo V-Star. You do that, but in a tag team with Mew and Mewtwo, and then you have Charizard and Dragonite. You do massive Pokemon and fighting scenes. That would be cool as a set. Jigglypuff, but I don't think Pokemon would ever do that. Darumaka. Yeah. I mean, it's not that the Crown Zenith was a bad set. I always said it was underloved. It's just things need to grow incrementally. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, and then if you think about it, you had Prismatic double tapping on the gold Pikachu. Boltund. A Dizzying Valley. Alchemy. Mamoswine. Reverse Genesect Rare. Reverse Dizzying Valley. And poop, another Palma. Yay! I definitely... It's not that the Pikachu SIR from Surging is bad. I just think it could use more love. And by more love, I mean better artwork. Put some of the effort that they put into some of the foreign promos into English SIRs. That's what I want. We have Boonery. Bramblin. Absol. Oddish. Seviper. It's a snake again. Lockix. Dizzying Valley number 3. Murkrow reverse. Jigglypuff reverse. And Poop Reshiram. That's depressing. This ETB has not been good. Not good at all. Oh, wow. TJ, Mama Panda loves the Jigglypuff, and she thanks you immensely for reminding me. Because I said, and I quote, if you had not told me, she would have never got it. So I appreciate the wonderful diligence on your part and keeping me honest. Got junk in my... You know what? That's not the first time I've heard that sleeve packs have better hit rates than ETBs, which is kind of crazy to me, but okay. Pillow Swine. Boltund. If she hadn't put the baby down, I would have had her go up and get it so you guys can see the one I got. If you guys missed it from the stream. Sandile. Charmander. Bramblegast. Fire Breather. Ludicolo. Granbull. Ooh. We have our first hit of the ETB. In our only corner at this very moment, we have a Who's That Pokemon? And coming in at number 1, we have the Ludicolo. Yay, $3. I'm just kidding. Hit's a hit. And a restaurant. I'm so excited that I just can't hide it. It's okay. We still have a couple packs to make up some ground. But hopefully if you guys decide to open up PC ETB, that you get better pull ratios than I do. Mama Pan is currently getting her Switch so she can play video games behind my back. Alright. We have this pack that we're opening and 2 more. So 10 packs, we've gotten 1 IR. Come on, Charizard. Bronzor. What's crazy is that the weekend that it came out, everybody pulled Charizard. So I'm convinced that there was too many open in our local area. Trapinch. Crocorock. Jigglypuff again. It's number 3. Hunchcrow. Wondrous Patch. Me too, BB. Me too. Granbull. Another Palmet. This is like number 4. Alchemy. And Toxtricity. We might go pick up the might go pick up a Prismatic just to open up some Prismatic on the channel. We haven't opened in a while. Crazy how both the Zards have dropped from release. Yes and no. Like, believe it or not, one of the most asked about cards at Collecticon was the Charizard SIR. Michael literally got the Japanese one and turned around and sold it within 30 minutes. Like, it was insane. Snubble. IPOM. Ghastly. Like, don't get me wrong, the Charizard was cool, but I think that it's going to drop down to like 500. Yeah, whoever sold it, sold it. You made out good. Linoone. Blowtorch. Seviper. Boltund. Another Linoone. And our 5th Palmet. That is just disgusting. I hope. Last pack magic. If you guys are opening up your ETB at home while you're watching this live, or while you're watching it later, your ETB has to be better than what we're opening. All we got is Palmets. Last pack, y'all. Alright, we have a Milcery. It's all good, BB. We do it for the fun. Spend time with you guys. Crocorock. Lombre. Trapinch. Cresselia. Haunter. Lockix, Ceruledge, and the Moment of Truth. Doo-doo Butter. We got an EX. We actually got the same EX. That is rough. Well, like I said, I hope your pulls are better than mine. That's all good, y'all. How are we feeling about Prismatic? You want to do some Prismatic next Monday? We'll get a SPC and open up some Prismatic with you guys on Monday. How do we feel about that? Do we want to do that? Do we want to do some Magic? What do we want? If I can, within reason of modern entities, get my hands on, what would we want to open together? Ooh. First edition base. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, BB. When we reach 1,000 concurrent viewers, I will buy a first edition base set booster box, open it on stream, and if we open up a Charizard, I will grade it and give it away. Magic, always Magic. OP is always a good rip. I will do my best to reach out to local stores and see what I can get in regards to OP to open. I can't guarantee it's going to be the most recent set because there's a lot of players in our area that buy the boxes to rip, but I will do my very best. Magic Avatar just isn't doing it for me, but that's beside the point. That is beside the point. Sounds good, BB. I might do the Prismatic. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I can grab from the store. But that is everything that we had planned for this evening. I hope everybody has a fantastic Monday evening. We will be doing Twitch tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. if you want to stop by on Twitch. And then we'll be doing our inventory update-ish on Wednesday. Maybe. I don't know. We'll keep up on Wednesday. With that being said, y'all, much loves. Deuces. Be safe.